Hey guys, welcome to my first official, I guess, recording YouTube video. I guess I'm just kind of going to explain how this is going to work. I'm going to give a backstory. First of all, I'm going to try to stop saying all the time, because the first video I said it like 8 times in the beginning. So I've got this little notebook right here that I will be looking down at quite often during this process, at least during the beginning, while I'm getting used to looking at this little dot on my computer. So let's see what I've gotten written down here. This is basically, I've got this Facebook page called WhatThaBrooke, and I basically just write. I had a cousin of mine tell me, just write. No grammar, no punctuation, just write. Don't worry about it, and you can go back and reread it. So what I'm doing when I go back is I'm going to come and read it, and I'm going to read them to you, and when I reread them, it's going to be the first time that I've gone back and actually read them again, and so it's going to be weird. But, I was going to say, some of the stories will be very graphic. It's going to be really hard to listen to, hard to, I guess, watch me tell you, and the names will be changed to protect the guilty and the innocent. And it's weird, on the comments that I get here, I'm saying all the time. The comments that I get on the notes that I write, that's what they're called, they're notes that I write. They're not really paragraphs, they're not really chapters, they're just kind of little things that come out whenever they come to me, and so I write them down. And then, you know, you can comment on Facebook. So people comment on them, and it like inspires me almost to like, I want to go back and edit it, but then I know I'm going to later, so it's nice to have the little comments there. So if you're watching this and you know that you comment on something and it's like, oh, I'm going to get all these notifications if I comment on that, like, okay, then send me a message. Like, anything, any feedback that I can get is great. Like, I appreciate it, because it can help me grow, and it's going to help my book grow, and so any kind of feedback is great. I can't tell you how much. And, this is, okay, so now I'm going to get into kind of like an outline of what exactly happened to me personally. I was about 2 years old, about how old my daughter, I have a 2-year-old daughter, about how old she is right now. This is a picture of me when I was about my daughter's age. This is at my 2-year-old birthday, my 2-year birthday. That's when I started to become a victim of my uncle. He started to groom me. I started watching pornographic videos. You can go on my WhatThaBrooke page, and I will be reading those actual notes on what he did to me and what I had to watch, the videos and things like that. So that's how old I was. That's how sweet and innocent I was. It's just vile to think how somebody can look at that little girl, that picture that I just showed you, and think sexual things about that. And it makes me sick. And it makes me sick as a mother of a child that is the age I was when it started happening to me. It freaks me out, and that's why I'm doing this. I mean, it's a big part of why I'm doing this. People my entire life have told me, you need to write a book, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. So I'm writing a blog/video blog, whatever this is, and I'm doing it my way, which is weird, because I'm weird, and y'all will get to know that very, 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 very fast. So basically, yeah, it started off with me watching pornographic videos. That was my first memory, was 70s porn, leg warmers, you know, the usual 2 girls on 1 guy, standalone mustache. I can tell you each and every detail of this house that my dad, I mean, it freaked him out when I told him about this house that I remember, that I shouldn't remember at the age I was when it started happening. And it's like almost like proof that I have memories of that house, and I can tell you like the armoire that the TV was in, that I remember the video being in, and there's just all these different memories that I have, and it goes into detail in the blog, the blog and the notes that I have written down that I will read on here. I'm just giving you kind of an overview of what this is going to be like. And so I was 2 years old, and that's when he started kind of introducing the whole porn and kind of making me like him and getting me to really, you know, him become my favorite person. And he did. He was amazing. He was fun, and I loved him. And then I fell in love with him. That was his plan all along, was for me to fall in love with him, and I did. I fell head over heels in love with this man, and he was in his 50s. He's disgusting. And it went on for 10 years. I was in the 6th grade when I told my mom. I climbed on her lap. I was in 6th grade and told her, "Uncle Conley touches me." Those are the 4 words that changed my life. It ended my love affair with my uncle. And when you read my notes, or rather when I read them to you, whichever comes first, you take out the fact that I'm a child, and sometimes it's a love story. It's a sick, twisted love story between a little girl and a grown man who is very wealthy, who owns tons of land, I mean, full of, trees and cattle and horses and, 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers, and, it was a pond, but it seemed like a lake to me, and this beautiful, like, wrapped around his property stream, and just, he taught me how to drive. It was this red Jeep, and he named it Scout, and just, it was so much fun. I fell in love with him, with the surroundings, with everything. It was like Wonderland. My parents were divorced, and so he was my birth father's sister's husband, so my uncle through marriage. And he was the most amazing man. He was a deacon in his church. He was a volunteer firefighter. He's an engineer for NASA. He's a great guy. He's someone that you never in a million years would imagine could do something like that, and that's the ones that you least suspect. Child molesters, people that do things like this aren't people who look like they crawled out of a gutter. They're everyday good people. They're sick, and they don't necessarily look like grease balls. They look and are like everyone else. There's no type. There are no clues sometimes. I will go through, and at the risk of him seeing this someday, hi, if you're watching, hello, I'm gonna post pictures of me growing up as a happy little girl. My mother brought me a shoebox full of pictures today, and it's like Christmas and Easter and all these happy pictures of me growing up as a little girl, and I'm like, oh, these are so cute, and then I get to like a picture of when I was 12, and sorry, I'm moving my feet around on the bottom, and I look like this panicked, frail, like, skinny, just like, I was so medicated and just like stunned, like I was tranquilized. I had to be. God, when I get into that kind of stuff, it's really going to get deep. It's a deep rabbit hole, and just warning you now, like, it's going to get graphic, it's going to get deep, it's going to get really hard to listen to, and I'm going to tear up, I'm going to cry, this is going to be hard, but it has to be said. This kind of abuse happens, and it has to be said, but these photos, it was like I was so happy. I was this happy little girl, and on the outside, like my parents, and watching my dad, like pictures of him teaching, my stepfather, teaching me how to ride a bike, and like a picture of the training wheels, and then a picture of the training wheels off, and then a picture of us at like Turner Falls, which is, anyway, I could go on forever. It's just this happy kid who, in a million years, me not being me and seeing these pictures of going through all of these, I mean, the horrible outfits, sorry mom, but ugh, you would never think anything had ever happened to this kid. And then you look at the pictures after, and I look just malnourished and horrible. And that's my dog, sorry. There's gonna be noises. That's just, I have a kid and a dog. The malnourished and the horrible, I just look sad in some of the pictures, and it just made me think, like, I was so happy when I was a kid because I was in love. I was so in love with that man, and it makes me sick. I was in love. He was my first love. He was the love of my life, as far as I knew. And then when I told, and it got taken away from me, I wanted to die, and I attempted it a lot. Very, very many times. And that involved trying to jump out of moving vehicles, trying to ram my head up against desks, walls. I mean, your everyday, just, we'll get into that. A lot of trying to take my life. It got bad, you know. It's gonna get really bad. This rabbit hole goes really deep. So that's just kind of an overview of what y'all are getting yourselves into if you stick with this WhatThaBrooke page. So there's another this is awkward, this is new to me, so just bear with me. And this is a curtain in my bedroom, so that's the best backdrop, and I'm hiding again from my kids. So thank you to my husband for trying to keep her away so that I can do this. He's being really helpful with all of this. And my mom, y'all have, oh God, when I get to her and my dad, I can't, I mean, just to the parents right now, I haven't really gotten to be able to put this down, like my fingers on the keys, but imagine your 12-year-old little girl or little boy coming to you and saying, a member of your family or somebody you know has been doing these, they're in love with somebody, in love, and doesn't want this person to get in trouble, that has been doing these things to your kid for 10 years. Just imagine that. I'm a mother of a kid, a little beautiful little girl that looks just like that picture, and I don't know how my parents didn't kill him. I don't know how my mom says, because I know that you needed me. That's what she tells me. She knows that I needed her to be there for me. And we will get into that. We will get into a lot of things. So, deep breath, and I'm going to try and refrain from welcome. Alright, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.